following sentences. Here you can see that we have provided you with two different sentences. Let's have a look at both the sentences and at the same time, let's see the words that have been highlighted over here, the incense sticks. And when we are talking about the scent, that simply means the fragrance, right? So we are talking about the fragrance over here. Let's have a look at the next example. So the next one is, we should not bear the challenges of life. We should face them courageously. What do you mean by the word bear over here? Bear means we are talking about to tolerate, to endure. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck would chuck wood? Hello everyone, in this particular section of homophones and homonyms, wherein we are going to discuss the various homophones and homonyms, and at the same time we are going to differentiate between all the words which are there lined up on the screen in front of you. But here we have one more fascinating thing. Instead of talking about only homophones and homonyms, we are taking you to a journey of the homographs as well. So here, let us begin with the introduction of homophones and homonyms. So without wasting a moment, let us begin with the initial part of homophones and homonyms, and we would be able to know how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck would chuck wood. So let us begin with the initial journey wherein we are going to discuss about the various homophones. Look at the following sentences. Here you can see that we have provided you with two different sentences. Let's have a look at both the sentences and at the same time, let's see the words that have been highlighted over here. So here, the first sentence is, can you accept the challenge which I am going to give you? So are you ready for that? So basically, when I'm talking about the word accept, that is depicting what? That simply means to take or to agree for something, right? Coming to the next sentence, except for the last two ducklings, rest are quite healthy. So we have excluded the last two by using the word except. Although, when we are talking about the two words accept and accept, how do they appear? We can just see they have different spellings, but at the same time, when we are talking about the pronunciation accept, the pronunciation is absolutely similar. And what do we call such kind of words? So when we are talking about such kind of words, we come to know that those words which have a same sound, different meaning and different spellings are termed as what? They are termed as homophones. Defining more elaborately, homo means similar and phone means sound. So all those words which are having a similar sound are termed as the homophones. Would you like to go through a journey of the homophones? So here we have some of the slides displayed in front of you which are going to give you the difference between the various homophones. So starting with the first one. Shakespeare wrote around 37 plays in between 1590 to 1613. So basically what we are talking about? Here you can see that the highlighted word is wrote. And this word means what? We are talking about the past form of the word write, and when we are talking about write, that is an action word and it depicts the process of writing, to pen down something, to jot down something. So that is what we call as the process of writing or the verb write. And when we are talking about this particular part, we can see that here we are talking about Shakespeare. Yes, who is considered as one of the greatest dramatists of the world, right? And he has written how many plays? In the period of 1590 to 1613, he has written more than 37 plays, and that is what has been depicted over here, the process of writing with the usage of the word wrote, which is the past form of the word write. Okay? The next one. Adam keeps on quoting the same. Yes, what we are talking about? The next one says, Adam keeps on quoting the same poem he learnt by rote in childhood. So when I am talking about the word rote, what does this word mean? So basically, when we are talking about rote, it is a method of learning which is adopted by most of the children during their childhood. And I must say that you have adopted the same thing when you were a child. The process of repeating the words and learning them. So that is what we call as the rote methodology. So basically, the words which have been quoted over here, wrote and wrote, both of them, they are having what? Different spellings, different meanings, but the similar pronunciation. That's why they are what? They are homophones. Coming to the next one. So yet another word is displayed over here. This is again a combination which is of the homophones. Look at the first one. She always dresses up herself with flair. What do you mean by the word flair over here? So when we are talking about the word flair, that simply means the natural tendency of someone to do something really brilliantly well. And here we are talking about the girl who has the natural tendency of dressing herself really well. And that's why we have used the word flair over here. Okay, let's have a look at the next example. So the next example is the flair of the party lit her face up. So basically when we are talking about this particular flair, what does this word mean? So here we are talking about the spark. Okay, the kindle. So here, what is the meaning of the sentence? The kindle of the party lit her face up. So basically we are talking about the spark. Okay, and we have got to know the meaning of the two words. But again the same thing, these two words are having different meanings and different pronunciations. But when we are talking about what? Are they really having the different pronunciation as I spoke a few minutes back? Not at all. The meaning is different, the spelling is different, but the pronunciation is same, and that's why homophone. Same pronunciation. Understood? Same sound. Understood? That's why these are homophones. Coming up to the next example. So here we have yet another set of example which says, the main reason behind her success is her perseverance. Yes, because of her hard work, she has succeeded in her life. And here we have used the word main, means the most important. Okay, coming on to the next example, we have the horse was running in the forest, tossing its mane. So basically when we are talking about the word mane, what does the word mean? Here we are talking about the long hair that grow on the neck of a horse or a lion. Okay, so here you can see the difference between the two manes. The first one refers to the most important thing. Okay, and when we are talking about M-A-N-E, that simply means the hair that grow on the neck of a horse or the lion, right? The king of the jungle. Let's now move on to the next thing. So here we have yet another thing splashing up in front of you, and the thing says what? Another set of homophones. So here we have the artist started dancing in the aisle of the vanity train to celebrate. What do you mean by the word aisle? That means the passage. Okay, so here we are talking about what? The artists that have started dancing, and what they were doing? While dancing, they were standing in the passage of the vanity train. Just imagine. So they couldn't stop themselves. They couldn't resist themselves from dancing, and that's why they started performing in the passage of the vanity train. Just imagine how dedicated these sweet artists were, right? Coming to the next one, the most visited isles of India are the Lakshadweep Islands. As depicted from the sentence itself, we are talking about isles over here, which are the islands. So here we have got to know about the difference between the two words. The first isle refers to the passage, and when we are talking about the second isle, that refers to the island. A piece of land surrounded by water from all the sides, that is what we call as an island. Okay? Moving on to something really new, another set. We have the scent of the incense sticks arouse devotion in the devotees. Basically, we are talking about what? Incense sticks, and that is pretty well visible. What do you mean by the incense sticks? And when we are talking about the scent, that simply means the fragrance, right? So we are talking about the fragrance over here. Coming on to the next one, the few cents in his pocket couldn't define his habits and social status. Yes, so we are talking about cents over here. The money, the currency coins we are talking about over here, right? And the difference between the two is that both of them, they have different spellings. And at the same time, both of them, they have different meanings also. But the pronunciation is same, the sound is same, cent, and that's why these two are again homophones. So now, let's move on to the next one. So here we have, during the reign of Rashtrakutas, Kailash temple of Ellora was built. So here we are talking about the reign, the duration in between the rule of Rashtrakutas, that is what we call as reen. Not only of the Rashtrakutas, it could be of any ruler. So basically when we are talking about the duration of a ruler, at what particular period of time and in what particular duration the ruler has actually ruled. So that is what we call as the reen. Understood? Coming on to the next one. So here we have the guide check the reen. As you can see, this is what we call as the reen. The rope that is tied on the face of a horse and sometimes even the cows, right? So that is what we call as the reen. The guide checked the reen of the horse and sent him for the race. So he was ready for that. So yes, the rope was pretty well attached to the horse, and that's why after checking, the guide decided that the horse can be sent to the horse race, right? So here we have got to know about two different words, reen and reen. The meanings are different, the spellings are different, but the pronunciation is same. Henceforth, these two are the homophones. Moving on to the next thing. So yeah, we have here something really new. Let us see what these examples are going to bring in front of us. The first example is, I need a band to tie up my hair. Band to tie up my hair. So we are talking about that particular band which is used to tie up the hair, right? Coming to the next one, a band of musicians was called for the farewell party. So basically what we are talking about, band means a group of musicians, right? Here, what did you observe? That the two words band and band, they have the same pronunciation. What they have? They have the same pronunciation, but what is different? Different meanings, and they have the same spellings also. What do we call such kind of words? Let's have a look. So when we are talking about such kind of words which are having the same spelling and they have the same pronunciation also, but they differ in meaning. So such kind of words are termed as homonyms. So let's have a look at the various homonyms, because I must say that you must be interested in knowing about some more homonyms. So here we have a few sets of homonyms lying in front of you, and the first says, what do you mean by the last word of this particular sentence, right? Mean, that means the girl is actually asking for the meaning, okay? So she is looking forward to know the exact meaning of the last word that is written in the sentence of the book which she is reading, right? So here we are talking about the meaning, okay? Coming on to the next example. So what we have over here, this man is so mean that nobody wants to talk to him. And see, he is agreeing for that. Okay. So basically when we are talking about this particular word mean, what does the word mean? That simply means that the man is so selfish. So here when we are talking about the two words, we can see that the spelling is same. The pronunciation is also same, mean, but the meaning is different. Here we are talking about the meaning, but here we are talking about the selfish man, right? Let's now move on to the next one. So here we have yet another set. The first is, we saw a bulky bear at the zoo yesterday. So what we are talking about? Bear. And I need not explain this particular thing to you. You pretty well know what a bear looks like. And you must be telling me, ma'am, this is not the only bear. We have the polar bear as well, right? So we are talking about the bear, the animal, the creature we are talking about in this particular sentence. Let's have a look at the next example. So the next one is, we should not bear the challenges of life. We should face them courageously. What do you mean by the word bear over here? Bear means we are talking about to tolerate, to endure. So we should not tolerate the challenges. We should not endure the challenges. Rather, we should face them courageously. Only in that condition, the spirit is going to be developed inside us to face the challenges, and we'll become optimistic and at the same time strong, right? What can you observe over here? When we are talking about the two sentences, we see that the two words bear and bear have the same spelling, have the same pronunciation, but the meanings are totally different. And the meanings are not at all linked to each other, right? Let's now move ahead and look at the next set of examples which is lying in front of us. And the first example is, how many students were present in the exhibition? So basically we are talking about the presence of the students that were there in the exhibition. Understood? So here we are talking about the presence by using the word present. Coming to the next example. So here we have the present that is kept near my bedpost is a token of love from my mother. So basically when I have used the word present over here, what does the word mean? That simply means that we are talking about a gift over here. Since we are talking about a gift, what is there? We can say that the meaning of the two words differ a lot, although they have the same spelling. They have the same pronunciation, but there's a huge difference between the two meanings, and definitely we all look forward to get the second one. Every time we are having our birthday, not even if in case we are talking about the birthday, we are pretty well ready to get and accept these kind of presents, right? Moving ahead, so we have yet another set, and let us see what the set has for us. An insect bit me, causing an intense irritation and swelling. What can you see over here? There's an insect lying over there, and what the insect is doing, the insect has bitten. So we are talking about bit means to bite, okay? So the meaning is to bite. And when we are talking about the next sentence, let us see what's there inside it. Even a little bit of sugar can harm a diabetic patient. Obviously, when we are talking about sugar, that is obnoxious, poisonous, venomous, we can consider it for a diabetic patient, right? And yes, bit of sugar means we are talking about very small quantity, pinch of sugar. Understood? So we are talking about very little negligible quantity over here. Since we are talking about the quantity over here, we have got to know about one very important point. And what is that? The two words have huge difference between their meanings, but the spelling is same and the pronunciation is same. And that's why these are the homonyms. Moving ahead, we have yet another set of examples, and that is what? The clean feet of a person determine the hygiene and the cleanliness one keeps. Obviously, that is true. So when you are looking at the feet of a person, automatically you will come to know whether the person knows how to maintain the hygiene or not, right? And at the same time, we get the idea about the cleanliness of that person also, right? And that's why it is very important for all of us to keep our feet clean. Understood? So here we are talking about feet. Feet means we are talking about our legs over here. The lower part of the leg, that is what we call as a foot, and the plural is feet. Let's have a look at the next one. The 5 feet long white albino python can kill the target just by squeezing the life out of it. Yes, although the snake is looking so beautiful, but you know what the tendency of the white pythons are? They are so very venomous in nature that even if they are not untangling, but they are tangling and then untangling themselves around the target, that is going to squeeze the complete life of the target. And believe me, trust me, that is the whole truth, right? So here we have used the word feet. What does the word feet mean? Here when we are talking about this particular word, we are actually talking about the length. Understood? And this is what? This is the unit of a length. And that's why we can see that there's a huge difference between the two. And the spelling is same. The pronunciation is also same, but the meanings are totally different. Henceforth, we can say that these are the homonyms. Let's have a look at a few more examples. Look at the sentence. The wind is blowing softly today. So we are talking about the breeze that is blowing softly over there, right? And let's have a look at the next one. Let's wind up the work for today. Means let's wrap up the work for today. So basically we are talking about what? Wind. What did you observe? When I said wind and wind, when I'm talking about these two words, you must have understood that both of them, they have the same spelling. But, they were having a totally different pronunciation. So all those words which are having the same spelling, different pronunciation and different meanings are termed as what? Let's talk about that. So such kind of words are termed as homographs. Aren't you interested in knowing about the examples of a few homographs? So here we have some examples for you, starting with the first one. So here, let us begin with the first set, which says what? Let us see. The scientists observed all the minute particles closely with the help of a microscope. We are talking about the word minute over here. So when I am using the word minute, I am talking about the tiny particles, okay? Very tiny, and that is the meaning of the word minute. Listen to the pronunciation, minute. Look at the next example over here. My mother specifically avoids the last minute hustle bustles, right? So basically, this is the tendency of each and every mother in India, and when we are talking about other countries also, the mothers are always the same. And here we can see that we have used the word minute. Minute means we are talking about the unit of time. Okay. 1 minute is equals to 60 seconds. So we are talking about the unit of time over here by using the word minute. And that's why we can say that these two words, although they have the similar spelling, but they have different meanings and at the same time totally different pronunciations. So such words are termed as what? The homographs. Moving ahead, we have yet another set. What is this set saying to us? Let us see. Lead is although an important element used in cars. Obviously, lead is used in the cars. Specific element of the mechanical engine, right? But can cause serious health issues in humans as it is carcinogenic, obviously cancer-causing agent, and that is why we can say that it is harmful for us. When I'm using the word lead, that simply means what? I'm talking about an element over here. What we are talking about? An element. Plumbum, you must have studied in physics, and at the same time, you have studied that beautifully and elaborately in chemistry also, right? Coming on to the next example. So here we have yet another example which says, obesity is a major issue these days with the working professionals. Yes, obviously that is a major issue with the working professionals. Which kind of working professionals? Who have a seating job. And when we are talking about obesity, it may lead to serious health issues. So we are talking about the word lead, which refers to the consequences, right? And that is why we are using the word lead over here. So basically, what have you observed in the two words? The first one is lead and the second one is lead. What's the difference? The spelling is same. Yes, only the spelling is same. The meanings are different, and obviously when we are talking about the pronunciation, that is totally different. So what are they? They are the homographs. Moving ahead, one more example we have over here. Let's have a look at the set which is now splashing upon the screen, and the set has a tortoise for us. Let us see what the tortoise is talking about itself. A tortoise can live up to 80 to 150 years of its age if not hunted or eaten. So we are talking about the lifespan of a tortoise over here. Can live. Lifespan we are talking about, okay? Let's have a look at the next example. The audience reached 2 hours before the commencement of the live match as it was the final. So what we have observed over here, the pronunciation is live, something that is going to happen in front. You would be able to watch that on the same spot at the same moment of time. So that is what we call as live, okay? So what's the difference between the two words? The spelling is obviously same. And when we are talking about the same spelling, can you just predict that the pronunciation is also going to be the same? Obviously not. The pronunciation had a huge difference. Live and live. And such kind of words which have the same spelling but different meaning and different pronunciation are termed as homographs, and we have come to know a lot about the homophones, homonyms and homographs. Now you must be interested in solving some more questions because we haven't solved any. So here in the upcoming sections we are going to bring in front of you different homophones and homonyms and questions based upon them. Obviously you are going to learn the various homophones and homonyms because you will be solving questions based upon them. But for that I need to wrap up this beautiful section for today. So that's all in the section. Have a good day.